On January 15th, 2012, a man climbed the entirety of Mount Kilimanjaro, reaching its peak in 10 days. Now, for most people, that would be an incredible feat all on its own. But if you know the name Kyle Maynard, you know this achievement was one of impossible odds and imperceivable determination. Because Kyle wasn't using ice axes or hiking boots, he was bear crawling. Kyle was born with a rare condition called congenital amputation, meaning he has no arms past his elbows and no legs past his knees. To understand how someone gets to the top of a mountain like that, you have to go back to the beginning. When Kyle was born in 1986, the doctors were pretty blunt. They basically told his parents, "You're gonna have to do everything for him. Feed him, clothe him, dress him. He's never going to be able to do anything on his own." But his family didn't buy into it. Instead of wrapping him in bubble wrap, they set the bar high. They treated him like his 3 younger sisters.
When I was born, my parents had no idea I was going to be born with a disability. It was a very sudden thing. The ultrasound technology was a lot different. They had normal checkups, normal ultrasounds, normal pregnancy, normal first birth up until I was born. And then in those first couple of days, the conversations were kind of grim. You're going to have to probably take care of Kyle with everything. You're going to have to feed him and clothe him and dress him. You're never going to really be able to do much of anything on his own. It's kind of what their prognosis was.
When Kyle was learning how to eat, he'd use a prosthetic spoon and he'd drop it. Not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. Thousands of times, spilling food everywhere. But his parents let him struggle until he figured it out. He went through the same massive learning curve just trying to put socks on. But he learned a crucial lesson early on in life. If you stick things out long enough, you'll eventually reach the other side. He played youth football as a nose tackle. He became a champion high school wrestler. He's also won 2 ESPY awards, broke a world record for bench pressing 240 pounds 23 times, and even fought in MMA. All this determination and grit over the years and years of hard work and trying has brought us to Kilimanjaro.
It was our last day, wake up at 6 a.m. We had to hit the summit by 4 p.m. or we had to go and turn around at nearly 23,000 feet. The summit was in sight. I wasn't moving fast enough, and I had a moment of just feeling sorry for myself and thinking, we've been here for 17 days. I'm not going to go and make this now. I'm going to be literally 100 meters from the summit. It was a moment of this surrender. My guide, Nani, was behind me. He was just yelling at me, encouraging me. He was like, "Up, Kyle, up, keep climbing, Kyle, up." So then it was, at that point, it was I see my friends hitting the summit, and I'm thinking been here for 17 days, I'm, going to go and waste this, not going to go and make it. And I was like, you know what? This is a stupid thought. No amount of thinking about this or whatever, wanting to be on the summit or imagining how far we come, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is right here. It was literally it was turned into a game. It was what I could see in my ski goggles. So with my head down is what I could see in my ski goggles. I was like, that's the only 3 feet that I have to deal with right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and there's another 3 feet to go and deal with and another 3 feet. And all of a sudden my guide, about an hour and 15 minutes later, he tells me to stop and look up, and I'm 15 minutes away from the summit. And a couple of minutes later, I'm staying at the roof of South America with some of my best friends, and it was an amazing moment.
But Kyle's story isn't just about a guy climbing a mountain. It's about how we handle our own obstacles. Later on in 2012, he spoke to a room full of burn survivors. He told them that everyone on the planet has some kind of disability. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's mental, but a lot of the times it's internal. He says he wouldn't change how he was born, even if he could, because it forced him to build a resourceful mindset. Kyle's message is simple. Don't try to tackle 50 things at once. Pick 1 or 2. Find your mountain, find your truth. Figure out what your real limits are, and then never, ever stop trying to break them. On a more personal note, Kyle's really inspired me, and throughout my entire life, I've thought of his autobiography that I read probably 15 years ago at this point, called No Excuses. I had a stroke all down my left side when I was born, and the doctors basically said the same thing that they told him. They thought I'd never walk, sit up, do much of anything, and even developmentally get past the 7th grade. And my parents, very much like his parents, didn't use that as an excuse. They put me right into speech and OT, and I was able to tie my shoes by the time I was 10 with one hand. I played baseball and basketball. I was terrible at them, but I played it. And reading that book probably around 2010 ish really just kicked me into gear and set me straight for my life as I know it right now. Now, although I have not climbed a mountain yet, that mindset of no excuses has really just defined my entire life. There's not much that I won't try or won't be able to do, and there's not much that I can't really modify so that I am successful in life. And there's really people that I looked up after that, especially when I got into fitness, people like Logan Aldridge. But Kyle is really the first one that I went, oh, this is possible, even with the weakening of my entire left side and not being able to do many things the same way that others do. That's not really an excuse to give up and not do what I wanted to do. I've never let my stroke get in the way of what I want to do. I've graduated college. I have my master's. I have my wife. I have a car. I can drive. I have friends. I have all this other stuff. And I think without that mindset of no excuses, that mindset of you can do anything you put your mind to. People like Jim Abbott that have made a video on already, people like Logan Aldridge, people like Ray Charles and Steve Wonder, and people in those regards, I think are very important to the world. And I love that he is promoting that. What's funny is that when I read his book in 2010, it must have been 2010, because he had yet to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. He is somebody that has never let his disability get in the way of what he wants to do. And I think that's a lesson that just about anybody can take and make their own. No matter what the circumstances are, no matter what you're doing in life, you can choose to persevere through just about anything.